I met Dave and Karen at a small group that we were leading on how to rebuild your marriage. And I asked him, what brought you here? And Dave looked at Karen and said, well, we've been living like roommates for so long. I think we just lost connection with each other. I asked, are there specific issues that you think you need to address? And Karen replied, no, I think we just need to rediscover each other. And as I got to know them a little bit, I learned that they had both been very active in their careers and in raising the kids. And it seemed like this was a relationship that was deteriorating more from neglect than from conflict. And we gave them a list of questions that they could use as conversation starters. And later they told us that they had some great dates talking through the questions. And did it solve everything? No, but it was a good start. And sometimes it's just about choosing to be intentional about reconnecting. So what are good questions? Well, there are just some general questions that we recommend that help couples to inquire or respond in a more helpful way. And these can be used in almost every conversation to dig a little bit deeper. So let me give you a sample of some of those. So, would you help me to understand? Would you tell me more about, I'm curious. I wonder if, so what are you feeling right now? What are you grateful for today? What was your high point for the day or the low point today? Well, then there's questions about remembering good times, and couples can often forget why they love each other, especially if they have been disconnected. And talking about pleasant past experiences helps to bring positive emotions back. So let me give you some samples of those. So what's your favorite memory of the two of us together? One incident I remember that made me appreciate you more was, when did you first notice me? What was the attraction? How has that attraction changed? What positive things have kids added to our life? And it's about creating more positive emotions. But now there's some questions about being intentional, choosing to build up your marriage bond. And this is about just choosing to notice the things that work well. So let me give you a few of those. If we were to define a goal that would build our bond and bring us closer, what would it be? Name 2 or 3 things I do for you that brighten your day. One incident I remember that made me appreciate you more was, so I think you kind of get the point. It's talking about, what are some of the good things that you could do really well. But there's also tough stuff, and there's questions about tough stuff. So many couples hesitate to talk about poor behaviors when they are in an argument because they fear that this is going to trigger a disconnection and they would rather avoid it. However, talking about poor patterns when you're not emotionally triggered can help you to choose better behaviors. So here's a sample of some of those. So what are some obstacles that may keep us from solving problems? What causes you to shut down? What could we do differently to repair? What have you been doing recently to build our bond that I haven't noticed? Do I tell you that I love you often enough? Or is it too much? Or, how do I say it without words? So it helps to talk about the tough things when you're not in the middle of a conflict. Now, providing a list of questions for couples doesn't solve everything, but it's a nice tool and it can help them be more intentional in connecting. So let me give you some tips for the marriage mentors. Determine how easily the couple is triggered. If a couple has a hard time talking without triggering each other, conversation starters might not help. It's likely that both are interpreting comments through a negative filter, and I wouldn't use this technique with this couple. 2, give the couple an assignment. If the couple needs to connect, give them an assignment to set aside time to talk through a few questions. And when they return, just ask them how it went and review that. And then 3, reiterate the general questions. The general questions fit into almost any conversation and help a couple to use these regularly, and it help them to gain a better understanding of each other. So those 3 tips again. 1, determine how easily the couple is triggered. Give the couple an assignment and reiterate the use of the general questions.